I have a movie idea. I'm back. Just hear me out. So there's this teenage girl named Rachel, and it's just her and her dad because her mom died at a very young age. On a late Friday night, her father rushes her to the hospital. He tells the doctors that she didn't come home by curfew, she wasn't answering her phone, so he went out to look for her. He drove his car on the route that she would have taken to get home. He said that he found Rachel's car crashed into a ditch on the side of the road and she was unconscious. So the doctors take Rachel into the back to start running some tests. Not long after, the doctors come out and give Rachel's dad an update. The doctors tell him that she's been kind of in and out of it, waking up, falling back asleep, but it looks like she just has a bad concussion and some bruises. Now they're just waiting for her to fully wake up. About an hour later, Rachel wakes up and she seems extremely confused. Her father, already beside her, is telling her it's okay, you crashed your car, you were in a ditch, but you're gonna be fine. Then he starts asking her, Rachel, what happened? And she has no idea. She has no memory of Friday and Friday night when she crashed. The doctors tell him that there's no way to know and that time will tell whether or not her memories come back. The father did not seem to like this answer. Anyway, Rachel gets released from the hospital and they go back home. Later that night, with nothing for Rachel to do but rest, she decides to turn on the TV, even though the doctors told her not to because of her concussion. What a rebel. The living room TV turns on and she's just scrolling through channels when the local news pops up and says there's breaking news. A girl named Lucy Wickman, a freshman at the high school that Rachel goes to, has been missing since Friday night. Apparently, she was at the football game that Rachel was also at last night and she didn't come home. Rachel doesn't know Lucy personally, but she has seen her a few times. Suddenly, Rachel's dad walks into the room, sees the TV, and gets angry. He turns off the TV immediately. He reminds Rachel what the doctors told her not to do, which was watch TV. Later that night, Rachel takes some pain meds and lays in bed. And right before it feels like she's about to fall into a deep sleep, she hears a girl's voice in her room. She opens her eyes to see Lucy at the foot of her bed. Lucy says, "Tell them where I am. Tell them where to find me." Freaked out, Rachel reaches over to turn on the light. When she turns on the light and looks back over, Lucy is gone. For the next 2 nights, the same thing happens to Rachel. The missing girl is visiting Lucy in her head. Rachel hasn't told a single person because she feels like she's going crazy. But then on the 3rd night, Lucy says this, "I'm at the shed. Quick, he's moving me." With no hope she's gonna find anything, Rachel throws on her clothes and sneaks out the back door not to wake up her father. She goes to the old abandoned shed about 100 yards away from her house. In the dark, she hears someone by the shed. She peeks behind a tree and sees her dad. So she starts walking towards him like, "Hey dad, what are you?" And she stops. Lucy's body is behind her father. Before she can run away, her father stops her. He said, "Rachel, you did this. The night I found you, she was in your backseat, stabbed to death with the knife in your purse. Help me clean up your mess." Did she kill her? Why would she do it? Is he messing with her head? Is Rachel living with a murderer? Who will go down for it if they get caught? Why is she seeing Rachel in her sleep? Or is her mind trying to convince her that she's innocent?